Hi, I'm Micki,
Hi, I'm Kat.
and we are Cat and Mouse Astrology. And this is the new moon in Gemini 2024. It's a
I'm
moon.
struggling with communication a little bit, but maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just early.
Well, this is a major communication moon, baby.
Woo!
Mercury ruled, and Mercury's going like, I can catch up. I can catch up.
Catch up. Oh, wait, did I just delete that? Oh, shoot.
Gotta love Mercury, especially when Mercury is in the side of the twins where it's going this way. No, this
Nope.
way.
Like,
No,
all the
this
ways.
way. No, this way.
All the ways.
I love the twins.
Do
I love
you?
Gemini. Yeah, I mean, Gemini is Gemini's fun.
Yeah.
Gemini is exciting.
A little unpredictable.
Sure, there's somebody else involved, right?
Oh, wait, there's somebody else involved.
And we got our first house, which is just us. I always think of the baby. There's, I think it's Robert Wilkinson, astrologer Robert Wilkinson, who's amazing, who goes through this like the evolutionary astrology archetypes of the meanings of the houses, right?
Okay.
So the first house, as we know, is us, but it's also like think of the baby who opens their eyes and it's all about them. It's like, have I got the milk I need? Have I got the comfort I need? Am I warm enough? It's all just about ourselves, our bodies, are we cared for? And then when you get to the second house, it's all about, well, what do I got? Am I structurally comfortable? Is my playpen got
Right.
fluffy blankets?
My toys.
Buy toys. Then you get into the third house, we get to Gemini finally, and there's somebody else in the playpen with us, and they just took our toy. Or we're having a good time with them between fighting over the toys, right?
Right.
So this third house is to me the we it's also inappropriate according to traditional astrologers to equate the houses with the signs.
Yeah.
Gemini has its own meaning, the third house has its own meaning. But just taking it as Gemini being the third sign in the zodiac, it's still this um it's in the first half where it's all about the individual rather than about the collective. And
Mhm.
it's the first time there's the introduction of a combination going on.
Yeah.
What
Some
do you
other
think of
event.
Gemini? How do you feel about Gemini?
I Gemini kind of confuses me, honestly, because I have no planets in Gemini. I've only ever had a handful of Gemini friends. I don't know it very well. I don't, if you think of the twin, like I'm really comfortable with paradox, but I don't know that that's necessarily a Gemini thing.
Oh, I think it is for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, both and
Yeah. Both and is always, almost always the right answer.
right. Yeah, that's another way I see Gemini is that there is the dichotomy, but it is also the yin yang.
Right.
So it is the whole. So you got the dark side of the yin symbol and the light side of the yin symbol. And you can look at the light, you can look at the dark, you can face that way, you can face that way, but the symbol is one symbol.
Right.
Just as with Gemini, it's just facing both directions. So there's a sense in which Gemini moves beyond the paradox,
Yeah.
addresses the paradox,
Yeah.
if you will,
Or gets comfortable with the paradox.
or gets comfortable with the paradox.
That's a
Yeah,
lot of the issue with like questions of duality and dichotomy. It's like, well, I mean, both things are true at the same time.
right.
Both things exist at the same time. And so get comfortable with the multitudes.
Yeah. And right now, Gemini is the the place where we need to focus all of our attention.
Yeah, shit.
So wherever Gemini is in our lives, that's where it's all happening. And it's a new beginning, and it's a crucially important new beginning because Jupiter's there for a year.
Mm.
It's trine to Pluto and it's square to Saturn.
Ooh, wow.
This is a big deal. And we just had Mars did its rebirth in Gemini. So it's returning to Gemini this year for a check-in
Hmm.
on how things go with the Mars's new. And we had a lot of wars. Mars is the planet of war. So I'm hopeful that with Venus in in Gemini, um, though I don't think they will connect by conjunction, that we'll get
No,
some relief to some of the aggression that's going on in the world. But oh, I try not to make predictions.
yeah.
Let's take a look at the screen. Here it is. Here's that big old beautiful moon.
Trine.
It is. We have our I've got Aries first here, and this is on UK time. Um, we've got our stellium down here in Gemini. We've got the sun and moon, of course, conjunct as a new moon at 16 degrees, 17 minutes, also conjunct Venus, and conjunct by sign Mercury and Jupiter. So we got a powerful stellium going on right here. Pretty pretty. Pretty.
Hmm.
It's pretty because we got a kite forming out of it all,
Yeah.
right? So we've got the Pluto in trine. It just was exact with the sun. It's still in trine to the sun. And we also then have a sextile with Neptune and a trine with black moon, and a black moon is in trine with Jupiter. So there's, again,
Good.
we come back to this, what we don't know or what we're not wanting to look at or what we don't want to face. Um,
Or just the unknown.
or just the unknown, or just the unknown. So what I feel about this moon is garden. And I'm really curious for you to read the signs again, to read the Sabian symbols again, because Mars, by going through here and retrograding, we had Mars here for like almost 3 months last summer.
Hmm.
Um, and it was intense. And this retrogradation of Mars was a rebirthing of Mars. And we now have just had the rebirthing of Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury with the sun. So this
Right.
is really heralding, and it's a new moon.
Right.
It's heralding a new beginning.
It's a new moon and it's a Venus cazimi.
That's exactly right. A Venus cazimi, and it was just a Jupiter cazimi and just a Mercury cazimi.
Hmm.
Right. I mean, we just, all this stuff is still in the mix. It's still in the air. It's literally still in the air. It's an air sign. So here's what I feel. I feel that this is whatever is going on in Gemini is your garden.
Okay.
You're trying to grow something here. And Mars may have come through last year to prepare the ground for what's going on now.
Acting as its blade.
Yeah.
It's the hoe, right? Okay.
We've got plenty of available fertilizer.
Right. Look at that. Just like
Yeah.
streaming down some nitrogen.
Yeah. Plenty of things. We've already done the dig deep and deep digging, and there is available fodder, whatever we need to enrich this garden here. And there's a need to create some kind of structure. So sticking with the garden analogy, you can go in and till all day long and you can sow your seeds, but if you haven't created some raised beds or some, piled some hills or done something to form your garden, I've seen the old fashioned gardens where they just throw out the seeds. People don't do that very much anymore because you weed all summer long. You're just going to weed. Structure is required.
Hmm.
Good gardens are compost heaps. They've been structured first, or they're
Hmm.
or they're created by creating a form first and growing within the form. So what's missing here and what we're being imposed to do in a way that may be uncomfortable is to create the structure. So first we see it's, you know, it's coming into the Mercury conjunction for, or the Mercury square first, then it's going to square off with, well, actually it'll be first the moon, then Mercury, then the sun, then Venus. So it's all going to come into square with Saturn, bam, 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 bam. So
Mm-hmm.
we're feeling, you might be feeling right now, like, I got my garden, I got my garden, I got lots of fertilizer. And something's going to come along and say, where's your structure?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to go, oops, stop. I got to build something right now to shore this up.
Mm-hmm. Or if you've been paying attention, you already built it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you've been paying attention, you've already built it, or at least you know that you got to have structure and you're prepared. You've got some materials, you're ready to get going on the structural part of it. And
Right.
notice everything, the fulcrum, we're pulling the bow back to shoot it into the unknown. So I think we've got something interesting going on here.
Right.
How have you been feeling about Saturn in the water sign of Pisces?
I have been trying to come to terms with the flow of things not being in my control, which is fine. I don't need to be in control. But sometimes it's been a little quick. The flow has been pretty swift in recent weeks, and it's a bit uncomfortable and scary.
Yeah, I feel that too. And I think that that has a lot to do with Mars in Aries.
Oh,
And when Mars dips its toes into to a Taurus here soon, we might feel um, like things could get to a pace that we can deal with it.
yeah, because Taurus is the stubborn bull. So, okay, thank you.
Right.
Things might
And,
slow down a little bit.
and all that stuff, when Mars was approaching Saturn, it was like dun 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 dun. You know, it was really and Mars, you know, really does not like floating around in those Piscean waters.
Mm-hmm.
So when Mars got into Aries, it's just like zip.
Your
And
rocket, yeah.
yeah, everything's been feeling like get her done, get her done, get her done, get her done, get her done. A real whirlwind. We talked about that last time, just like centering in the whirlwind.
Right.
But in a minute, it's going to go on into Taurus, leaving only the node and the North Node and Chiron there in Aries
Mm-hmm.
for quite some time. So that's going to give us an Aries chill pill, right? Aries is going to get a little chill pill in a minute. Well, until Saturn and Neptune come in there and change everything.
Right. But we've got some time for that.
And
We're
that's,
not there.
do you want to do some Sabian symbols? Would you do
Yes.
the black moon first? I know it's probably the same, but just in case.
Sure. What degree is it at right now?
27 Virgo.
A bald-headed man who has seized power. Gross. Okay. The unknown, the mysterious hidden Illuminati forces. Now I want to know what Neptune's at still. At 29, is Neptune at 29? Okay. A majestic rock formation resembling a face is idealized by a boy who takes it as his ideal of greatness and as he grows up begins to look like it. And then he goes bald and seizes power. I don't know. These symbols are so weird.
Now, we don't have a 30 degrees for Neptune.
No.
So we have to wait for 0 degrees, which we're so very close to. Would you go ahead and read 0 degrees anyway?
Oh, sure. Zero Aries. Oh, okay. A woman has risen out of the ocean. A seal is embracing her.
I am a silky of the sea.
I know, right? There are like three silky symbols in the zodiac. A woman rising out of the ocean. A seal is embracing her. Well, I like those two together. The boy seeing a rock formation and wanting to become the rock formation. And the seal, a woman embracing a seal. It's like, how much can humanity remember that it's a part of nature? Is nature.
Yeah, and in the mythology, the seal is a human wearing a seal skin. And
Mhm.
when she embraces the seal, he is able to become human again. The merman becomes man,
Oh,
right? The mermaids and mermans were a symbol of, unconscious human desire, I believe. And um, that accepting of the seal, I am a silky on the sea, I am a man upon the land, is how the language goes.
mm-hmm.
So when they're on the land as a mermaid or a merman, they can live as a human, but when they're in the water, they live as a seal. And in the
Mm-hmm.
mythology, they take the human down into the underworld with them,
Okay.
and they are able to go with the human on land to check out the human world. So there's a crossover of um, the worlds, and that's really interesting as you think of the symbology of Neptune. One thing that bothers me a little bit, because I study astrology and I listen to a lot of respected astrologers I respect a lot, and the focus seems to be on the delusion and illusion of Neptune.
Mm,
But at 29 degrees of Pisces, Neptune to me is the spiritual symbol.
yeah.
Neptune represents all that we cannot put into words because
Right.
it's beyond language.
Right. It's the mystery.
Right. It is where we are no longer separate. We are all one. We are all drops of water in the ocean.
Right. We're both
And
human and silky.
we're both human and silky. And so that 29th degree, or the as you read the 30th degree, read that one more time because I think it's really fitting.
A majestic rock formation resembling a face is idealized by a boy who takes it as his image of greatness and as he grows up begins to look like it.
So there's this sense of imitation of what we dream to be. And then when you get to 0 degrees, then what is it?
A woman rising out of the ocean, a seal is embracing her.
Uh-huh. So there's again some acceptance of the whole and the transformation that comes from this spiritual enlightenment.
Right.
There is a lot of unknown when we see that it's pulling against intention with what we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Our ultimate dreams are really in tension with our um, what we don't know what we're doing and what we don't know where we're going.
Right. Which is a great place to be if you can be in that spiritual place, if you can be in the place of not being in control, of letting other beings, spirits, God, whatever, be in control of things and trust in the kind of unknown process of how your life's going to play out. Which doesn't
Right.
mean you make any effort. It just means let go of your grip on what you think how you think things should pan out, right? Because it could be there's something even better. There could be something even better. You don't know everything.
Yeah. Good point. And look at the nice sextile with Mercury. That
Mm,
means, it's something that perhaps, even though, this could be a big emotional feeling. This could be a big sense of, love, or, um, it could feel scary, but it could feel very good. Scary because it's opposite the unknown, but it's something that can be put into language because it's connected in a positive way with Mercury.
right.
So write a song, right? Or write a poem, or
Mm-hmm.
tell somebody you love them, or, right? I mean, there's an opportunity for expressing this. And I think that's what is the most awesome part about the kite is the opportunity to express it.
Mm,
And I went backwards. Our fulcrum is pulling towards Neptune, not Black Moon.
mm-hmm.
So we're really aiming this arrow, if you will, towards Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow there's a major evolutionary um, happening with Neptune right now. 29 degrees is a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like there aren't delusions and illusions at play. We are certainly in a time of delusions, but there's like octaves, right? There's octaves of understanding. Like some astrologers talk about the stars and the celestial bodies as being a harmonics, right? And we talk about harmonic angles, and so there are octaves of understanding and octaves of existing on these planes that we inhabit that overlap each other. And some people might be stuck in the delusions. Certainly they are. Like you can see it in the news. People are
Right,
stuck in their delusions. But we
right.
don't all have to be stuck in delusions, especially if we're paying attention and doing the work, right? Then we can just be in the mystery. Because part of delusions means like part of what makes people delusional is because they feel so attached to their delusions. Like it's the truth, right? And that's where we get concerned for them, is because they're fixated on their own idea of the way things are and the way things should be without leaving any room for the mystery and the unknown.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested in the grand trine with Pluto, Black Moon, and Mercury, and this new moon, but mostly with Mercury and Jupiter. Um, because this implies an ease.
Mm-hmm.
And read 27 again, the Black Moon in Virgo,
Yes.
27 Virgo.
Oh, a bald headed man has seized power.
All right. So, and this represents the plutocrats. Let's go with 2 degrees of Pluto first.
Okay. I believe that's the unexpected thunderstorm, but I'm going to check. Oh, that's the deserter from the Navy.
All right.
A
And
bald-headed man has
what's
power.
1 degrees? Because we're headed back.
Oh, an unexpected thunderstorm.
Uh-huh. So we're still, I mean, we've been on this thunderstorm thing for quite a while.
Right.
And for me, there's an implication. The plutocracy is getting their message. This bald man, the
Mm-hmm.
plutocracy is getting a message. We don't really know, like, ooh, what bald man? What billionaire are we talking about? How many of most of the big bad behind the scenes billionaires, we don't even know their names.
Or not their names.
We don't even know their names. They're not out there in the world. They're not letting you know that they're pulling the strings. And
Right.
this plutocracy has got some great ease. They might be feeling like it's all good. We're going to go back in here to Capricorn where we have control and power.
Mm.
And it's true. Pluto's going to return to Capricorn for a brief little minute. That minute is going to last, from September until December this
Oh,
year, right
oh God.
over our election.
Right.
We're going to get some major plutocracy, power to the plutocracy. And there may be a lot of people talking about this. There's some big communication that's maybe facilitating or making the plutocracy feel, We got power, baby. We're taking it back. We're taking it back. But it's not going to last.
Yeah.
It's not going to last.
Pluto in Aquarius.
Pluto's going to move back into Aquarius. So they're going to get a last little, I'm going to say, exposure. What's 0 degrees of Aquarius?
Um, an old Adobe mission.
Right. And what's 29 Cap?
Directors at a large firm meet in a secret conference.
There we go. They're headed back to that,
It's because
right?
they're losing. It's because they're losing.
They're losing, and they might have an illusion. They might be the ones deluded.
They are
They're
deluded.
thinking that they're going to keep doing what they're doing when everybody knows what they're doing is actually destroying the world and our lives. And we're not going to let them because we the people are going to be coming into control for 20 years.
There you go.
So this is their dying gasps over this year. And I think that that's where the biggest part of the illusion comes in is people have, they've got this lovely ability to communicate. We're the best. You want to help the plutocracy, do what we want to do. But the stellium in Gemini and Mars and Saturn are, and then of course what's coming up in Aquarius that we don't see yet, and the Saturn Neptune conjunction coming up in Aries, I think they're going to get a comeuppance.
Good.
That's what I'm feeling with this. So that's mundane astrology, talking about what's going on in the larger world, but what's going on in our own lives. There's an ease right now between what we don't know, what we may not like, and we might be talking about what's going on and how can I help it, or somebody might be talking in a way that easily can cause unknown problems or harm.
Mm. Or, we could be a little more positive about it and be like, maybe some messages are coming from the depths of the mystery. Maybe it's not about like bad bald men at conference tables. Maybe there's some other messages from the deep of Pluto's
Well,
recesses.
certainly it's not a one size fits all, and that may be one mundane message, but
Yeah.
there's other messages for the world as well and individually. But I am concerned about the ease of flow between our unknown and the stuff that may be scary,
Yeah.
and that this is creating a bit of a buzz in conversation, which might actually be exacerbating it. The
Right.
larger picture is Neptune and the spiritual 29th degree,
Yeah.
which I feel is more powerful overall.
Neptune at 29 is like the PowerPoint of this chart.
I feel it's the power point of this chart.
Yeah, I think you're right with the way the kite is.
Yeah.
So try not to be delusional.
Yeah.
Try to be open to dreaminess.
I would say, take a serious look at your Gemini area. And if you have no planets in that, what's opposite? What do you got
Oh,
in
Sagittarius.
Sag? Or what do you have square?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's what's going to matter, right? You do have angles. You've got something that's either in
Right.
opposition or square or trine.
Right.
This house, it's not really empty. It's reflecting something,
Yeah.
right? So take a look at what's going on in this house. What house is it? And I'll put stuff down in the comments below about Gemini through the houses.
Okay,
Because I
that's a
think
good
that,
call.
yeah, if this is your first house, well, you've got Pluto directly impacting this moon.
Shit.
And that's going to be, you're going to feel that personally.
Right.
And
Okay, so if you
again,
look at it as the angles, like, so I have, as we discussed earlier, I have nothing in Gemini, and so it kind of confuses me. But this particular new moon is in an exact trine to my stellium in Libra.
right.
So
So it was
this
important.
moon is supporting my Mars, Venus, Pluto stellium in Libra.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And what house is Gemini for you?
Third.
Right. So that means that what is the big deal is this um neighbors, small runaround, siblings, friends, small activity, small
Mm,
travel, um, the interactions we have at the grocery store, or uh, those ways that we prepare, for our daily lives and do our daily errands and things like that.
your close community.
Yeah, our close community. Um,
Oh, and it's in direct opposition to my natal Neptune.
yeah. So your natal Neptune is representing your teaching,
Mm,
right? It's your ninth house,
mm-hmm.
your spiritual teacher,
Mm-hmm.
right? And having this opposite your natal stellium, your natal Neptune in the house where you teach, then this is showing the house where you learn,
Mm.
right? And so the garden you're growing may be in your own learning.
As I go back to grad school.
So I think Pluto's pretty cool here on that level because it's, like I said, it's helping us fertilize the garden.
Right.
My bigger concern is what's going on with Saturn and how are we going to deal with, you know, the structural issue.
Like is that 18 Pisces?
18, almost 19 Pisces. I'd read 19.
Okay. Well, 18 is a master instructing his disciple,
Mhm, mhm.
and 19 is a table set for an evening meal.
Yeah, and we're headed backwards. It doesn't say retro right now, but we will be going into retrograde with Saturn very shortly.
Mm,
Um, so it's going to go back again over those degrees. It's going to take a long time to reach Neptune and have that conjunction at 0 degrees Aries. So
uh,
that's interesting. I like that. What do we have for the North Node at 12 Aries?
Aries. A bomb which failed to explode is now safely concealed.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, Mars there in Aries. Uh, this has been a trigger for the whole time that Mars has been in Aries for aggressions,
Hmm.
but we've had some positive stuff from the benefics. And with the healer in there, Chiron, perhaps that ameliorated some issues going on. What's
That would be
Chiron at 22 degrees?
a woman in pastel colors carrying a heavy and valuable but veiled load. Something hidden,
Uh-huh. Both
valuable.
of those are representing the hidden. I'm sorry, read 12 again, because that was hidden too, wasn't it?
Yeah. A bomb which failed to explode is now safely concealed.
Uh-huh.
So you have something concealed and something veiled, explosively concealed and valuably veiled.
Yeah, read Chiron one more time.
Chiron. That's the a woman in pastel colors carrying a heavy and valuable but veiled load.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's interesting to me again for the mundane picture because I sense in this the again the Pluto unknown dark plutocracy that has hidden plans that we don't want to see fulfilled.
Right.
And luckily, well, what they had planned didn't work, it sounds like. And in the same area, we have the healer representing women, and they've got something hidden too, but what they're hiding is more
Valuable.
protective. Is what?
Valuable
Valuable. Yeah.
instead of destructive.
Valuable instead of destructive.
Right, right. Listen to what Mars is. This is beautiful. Um, through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained.
Read one more time.
Through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained.
I really like that,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the Neptune being the fulcrum of this chart.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a square. Is that almost a trine to Pluto? No, almost a square to Pluto.
Yeah, it is in square to Pluto, but not by sign. So
Right.
it will be, it is, I believe it's gonna square Pluto. But Pluto's going back. Let's see when it squares. I'm curious now. Let's see when this thing squares, because
Okay.
that's rather intense. It's probably going to be a week.
Yeah.
I've only went a day. Sorry.
Okay.
Of course, it's going to swirl for a while, but yeah,
Yeah.
Pluto square to Mars isn't a pretty picture. That's not pretty. I don't like it. And we also have the we've got a Uranus Mars conjunction approaching at the same time, right?
Oh, well, that should be a while from now, a little bit. No,
No, see, we're at 3 degrees already. I went too far.
okay, not too far.
Go
So in
back.
the next week, Pluto and Mars will be square.
Pluto's gonna zip through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And Mars.
sorry, Mars is gonna zip through. Here we go. I went too far. Gotta go back. Gotta go back. One more.
There you go, right there.
Here it is. Yeah. So on the 11th of June, now we have the exact square. I say that's a day to pay attention.
Right. But it's also a sextile between Chiron and the Sun and Venus.
Right.
Okay.
There's a
That's
lot
not
of healing love being highlighted, to help deal with this. And I think it feels to me like the difference between the meeting of the node that you just read in Chiron,
yeah.
right? We've got the negative stuff building, but we also have some positive stuff building, and it may be more powerful than the negative stuff building,
Mm,
right? We know, I mean, it's always good to look forward. We know that although Pluto is dipping its head back into Capricorn, it won't stay there. So
right.
keeping that in mind, I think, is helpful. But let's look ahead a little bit further to see when the conjunction will happen with Uranus and Mars.
Mm, okay.
So here's Mars at 6 degrees. Let's go one
Another
more
week
week.
and a half. Yeah.
12,
I'm so fun.
17, one more. Here we go.
Yeah. Not a full
Less
week,
than a
probably.
week, but I'll try it a week anyway. Yeah, 26. There we go.
Oh, there.
Okay,
Perfect.
so here we are, July 16th. And we have the exact conjunction. And I believe that this is on the Republican National Convention.
Should we just go ahead and read that? What's that, Taurus? What was that to say?
Yeah, what was that? Was that for the
26.
yeah, that's 26 degrees of Taurus.
An old Indian woman selling beads. I don't know what to make of that.
What's 27 Taurus?
A mature woman reawakened to romance. I'm so sad for her that she had a period without romance. That she
Yeah.
had to be reawakened to it.
Well, Pluto can dig deep,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Mars could be a man. Um, you know.
We didn't read the moon sign though.
No, we haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
Go ahead. We've got 16 degrees of Gemini.
Gemini.
I'll go back to our right spot.
The head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker.
Oh, read one more time.
The head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker. So we've got lots of transformation in these symbols.
Absolutely.
A bomb being concealed, something valuable being veiled, um, a deserter from the Navy, a bald man seizing power, the majestic rock formations being idealized that a child grows into and starts to look like, and then the head of a youth turning into a mature thinker.
So interesting. So it's 16, 17 and 47. So yeah, 16 is pretty much right on for it. So it's interesting to me that we have Venus conjunct this new moon.
Right?
And again, it's the place where um, Mars was reborn last year.
Mm,
This is the sign of Gemini has been highlighted for us in a big way. And even though these planets are going to go through here pretty fast, the impression that they're going to leave is going to be very long lasting, at
mm,
least 6 months in your life.
mhm.
So I think that it's really this particular new moon is really important for setting intentions, particularly those intentions about how you want your garden to grow, how you want to structure your garden, and how you want to fertilize your garden, whatever garden means to you,
Right,
right? Whatever you're trying to grow in this area.
right.
And then looking at the house placement, what house does it represent for you? Is it the third house and it represents, your um, learning and relationships with your neighbors and friends and relatives? How does growing a garden there look? What does that look like to grow a garden in that area? Has it been fallow before now? And you're finally putting in some flower beds. Um, so again, I'll put that for
Last
you.
week.
What?
I did that last week.
What is the flower beds?
I don't want to, I had an empty garden bed. I was like, I don't want to grow kale and chard. I just filled it with flowers.
Nice. That's gonna be beautiful. So it's literal for you.
Literal.
Literal for you. What's 2 degrees of Gemini with Jupiter?
The Garden of the Tuileries in Paris.
Ah, see, nice.
Yeah.
And what's 6 degrees of
For
Gemini with
Mercury.
Mercury?
An old fashioned well. Ooh. Pulling up stuff from the deep to be refreshing.
Yeah, and in that trine with Pluto, yeah, that and again, that trine with Pluto and Mercury, that is some powerful stuff that could really be utilized by anybody um who depends on speech. It doesn't even have to be creatively, it could be somebody who's writing technical reports,
Mm.
I mean, or communicating for any kind of communication. I think that
Yeah.
this is going to
I mean, it
allow
could be
people,
music, it could be painting.
right? And again, it doesn't even have to be necessarily creative in the sense of art. It could be, somebody's job gives them they're making a speech and it allows them to really, get to the root of something.
Get to the root of something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it too, is you've got, there's no real extraction here. Mars is way up there. Saturn is here. Saturn's providing structure, not really extraction. This is all just growth,
Hmm.
right? This is flowering.
Fertilization.
Yeah, yeah. Blooming. It's blooming.
Sustenance with water from the well.
Yeah, yeah. With water from the well. So I think this is pretty positive, and we can really utilize this moon to help us understand what the 29th degree of Neptune is all about for us.
Mm,
Right? We're growing a garden here, but the bigger picture is this spiritual transformation that's happening for everybody, but also collectively. I mean, it's happening for us individually, but it's also collective.
right,
And we've got a long time for it because Neptune's going to be sitting there for quite a while,
right.
quite some time.
It's a degree for ideals, contemplating
Absolutely.
your ideals and making them real,
Yeah.
which can
So-
seem a little delusional at first
But it's
until you
pretty
make some
nice.
progress. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have an opportunity here to really dig deep, and it may be difficult to know how to provide the structure. Is this a Venus square? We might feel a little like, I don't know, a little restricted.
Mm,
Um, Venus square Saturn can feel a little oppressed,
okay.
right? But there's a
I
lot
feel
of
like
beauty.
it could also feel like somebody else is taking care of that part. I can just be over here being a beautiful flower, but there's some gardener over there like doing the dirty work.
Yeah, but then I don't like how they're weeding because it's in square.
Oh, okay.
You're weeding too close to my roots, dude.
I see.
Yeah, there's something in square with Saturn that is, we have to turn the corner.
Yeah.
We have to turn the corner. And what does that corner require? It requires the structure of Saturn to be recognized, utilized in some way.
Hmm.
So there's something here that we're going to have to actively work in a way that may not be so comfortable to provide structure, or we might have to go, whoops, stop. I got to dig that up and redo it.
Hmm.
Um, it's not going to grow here. I planted in the floodplain. I'm going to have to put it up higher. So there's something going on that's going to require some looking at the structure. And since Saturn is going to be going retrograde here real soon, going back, this may be something we look at for a while to restructure and come back to. Again, this is a long-term impact. Even if the moon itself is going to move forward quickly, this is a
Right.
long-term impact here. And
Right.
Jupiter is going to be there for a full year. The whole time Jupiter in square by sign with Saturn.
Okay, fun. Restructuring.
Right.
So it's a new moon. Set your intentions
Set your intentions,
for
dig
useful
deep,
structures.
utilize that fertilizer, it's there. And I don't know, what do we want to say about the unknown?
It's a rich resource.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
It's a big place, that unknown.
it's a big place, that unknown, yeah. And if you could draw on it, it's going to help fertilize your garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, the mystery is beautiful. It makes life more interesting.
It
You
does.
can look into the mystery of things.
It does. And within the mystery is the nugget of hope,
Yeah, that's right.
right? Right. And we've got we've got both benefics here, both Venus and Jupiter
Hmm.
with this moon. Venus
Hmm.
exact, Jupiter by sign, they're both here supporting this moon.
Hmm.
So whatever your intentions are, there's a lot of hope.
Yeah,
There's a lot of hope for this um, becoming a fruitful, blooming garden.
right. Plant it.
So, well, anything else to add, Miss Cat?
No,
No,
it's a lot.
it is. It's a lot. Anyway, go fertilize.
Go fertilize. Enjoy your gardens.
Enjoy your gardens. Oh, we'll see you on the full moon. Bye.